pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Brolaski, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Koser? Here. Dr. Laughlin? Here. Mr. Haynes? Here. Mr. Hemmons?
Here.
Mr. Merle D. Music?
Here.
Mr. Merle L. Music?
Here.
Mr. Repko?
Here.
Dr. Zorch?
Here.
And Mr. Hauser.
Here. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Mr. Cribs.
The board did hold an executive session prior to this evening's meeting, at which time we discussed ongoing tax assessment litigation, as well as legal matters pertaining to edicts from PDE and some personnel issues.
Thank you, Mr. Cribs. Education and planning, Mrs. Mays.
Thank you so much. I'm very pleased this evening to introduce Kayla Sutton, the president of the Greater Latrobe Partners in Education Foundation, for a presentation. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm so pleased to be here as newly elected president of the Greater Latrobe Partners in Education Foundation. Can you hear me? I feel like I'm echoing. Okay. The school year is off to a wonderful start, and tonight I wanted to share an update from the Education Foundation and highlight the ways that our organization is helping to continue the tradition of excellence that we have here at Greater Latrobe. I wanted to share with you our why, what, and how for our organization. Can you hear me? I feel like I'm echoing. If I'm okay? Okay. Okay. Why our work is important. By supporting the students, teachers, and staff of Greater Latrobe, we are investing in our community. The Greater Latrobe community continues to be a great place for businesses and families, and our district continues to outperform on a national scale. With increasing costs of providing essential education services, the Greater Latrobe Partners in Education Foundation is vital to continuing the pursuit of excellence in education with a balanced focus on the arts, academics, and athletics, and preparing students for success in an ever-changing world. What we do. The GLP-IEF pursues its mission and strategic goals through 3 primary activities. Grant making. We distribute grants to Greater Latrobe teachers, schools, and the district in support of the district's and foundation's goals. Scholarships. We provide scholarships to exceptional students graduating from Greater Latrobe Senior High School through donor gifts. Connecting. We work to build relationships with community members, parents, alumni, and business leaders in support of the Foundation's mission. How we do it. GLP-IEF is the fundraising and benefactor arm of the Greater Latrobe School District. It seeks to create vital connections with the wider community in supporting Greater Latrobe students and staff. This is accomplished through the following. General fundraising. The Foundation raises funds from community donors through such efforts as our annual fund campaign, planned gifts, and special events that we hold throughout the year. Permanently endowed funds. The Foundation maintains a general endowment and named endowed funds where earnings provide support for programs, projects, and scholarships for our students. Program-based fundraising. The Foundation receives annual donor-designated gifts for programs, projects, and scholarships to ensure the district's ability to anticipate and fulfill the needs of our students. Education Improvement Tax Credit, also known as EITC. The Foundation is an approved education improvement organization in Pennsylvania's EITC program. Alumni Relations. The Foundation works to connect with the community at large by reaching out to Greater Latrobe alumni across our region and around the globe. We are proud to announce this year's grants and scholarships total $260,523. And I would like to share with the various projects that we are supporting for this school year. $50,637 to support professional learning communities for the elementary and senior high schools. $14,000 to support the Learning 2025 initiative. $10,000 to support the new junior high electives. $5,000 to support the school resource officer program. $23,570 to support elementary Project Lead the Way VEX robotics. $17,505 to purchase elementary Project Lead the Way iPads. $10,000 to support PLAY Westmoreland, which supports professional development for teachers. $25,110 to support music department equipment upgrades. $23,700 to assist the special education department, and this is made possible by a generous donation from the Goal magazine every year. $19,751 for teacher grants that support innovative classroom projects, and we thank the Dr. and Mrs. Stavitsky and Karen and Ron Lebrowski Fund for this. $7,500 to support the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. $53,750 in donor-sponsored scholarships for graduating seniors. And in addition to these program grants, we have what we call a Wildcats Emergency Fund that supports children and families in need all throughout the school year. I just want to take a moment and once again thank all of our donors who believe in Greater Latrobe School Districts and make meaningful gifts to the Education Foundation so that we can do what we do. Since the foundation was formed in 2011, we have raised $7,749,105. That's pretty impressive. But our work continues. Once again, we are kicking off the annual fund campaign, and this year our theme is Future Focus for the Wildcat Community. I want to take a moment to thank the members of the school board, teachers, administration, and all of our staff that have given so generously to the annual fund year after year. Thank you for this opportunity to be here, and thank you for all your continued support to our staff, students, and ourselves. Thank you.
Caitlin, can I just ask you a couple of questions real quick?
Maybe you guys stand back up?
Yeah, you do. Okay, that's good stuff, please. How many different things did you list there? I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have a quick count on that? I mean, I saw it. 12 different things that you funded. And that included the check that we picked up from Goal magazine, right, this week that was donated to the Partners in Education Foundation?
No,
or is
That'll be,
this is for last year,
This
yeah.
is for last year, so that will go to next year.
Yes.
$260,523 just for this year.
Mhm.
And since 2011, I wrote numbers down, I want to make sure they're right. $7,749,105.
Yes.
I think that oftentimes we as a board, you as a board, we as a district are challenged to think outside the box on things when it comes to funding. Not that having an education foundation is truly outside the box, but in 2011, it was outside the box in our area. The work that the foundation does sometimes goes unnoticed, and that's a shame, because it is to the tune of $7.75 million since 2011. And it was interesting, Dan and I, we left a meeting the other day, and Dan said to me, do you realize that the folks that support the foundation, they support public education? And I said, it's better. They support public education in Greater Latrobe. They support what we do. $7.7 million, $7,749 million equates to 22 mils in taxes over the last 11 years. That's a $598 tax increase that was not passed on to the taxpayer for things that have made education at Greater Latrobe better. And I know we had a community forum last week, and we were talking about a lot of different things. But I remember this presentation from last year, and I remember saying, that's amazing. And that is thinking outside the box. And that is people who believe in what we're doing. Mrs. Bizignani's here. Mr. Brinker's here. You know, as a part of the foundation. And they give their time, talents, and efforts to champion our causes. You answered all the questions correctly, by the way.
Well, good thing there weren't any hard questions.
But thank you for the work that you do as president and the president's past, because it does make a difference with our kids, and we are in a much better spot having a foundation like we do, which, Jessica, you can agree, we get noticed from across the Commonwealth. People want to know, how do you do this? Can you be a model for us? It just doesn't happen everywhere.
Thank you for what you do as well.
We get a picture. You go, I go. We'll go inside, and you all can get wherever you want to get in the photo. Get in there. You okay? Awesome. Officer Derek, can you get this to the bank for us, please?
Absolutely. My bank.
With us in the picture, I imagine the circulation will go. This is me.
Okay. I also get to have the opportunity to introduce two new student representatives to the board, Alexis Michael and Natalie Slater, and they will be representing us at our meetings. And we're very happy to have you. So you have a presentation for us tonight? And this is Alexis.
Hello, thank you for having me. I hope you all had a great summer. I know Matt and I are excited to start things off. So we'll be going over the student representative report. I'm going to be going over what's going on at the senior high school and the junior high school. To start off, we have almost 1,200 students enrolled in courses at Greater Latrobe Senior High School this year. Last Thursday, we had a successful open house where students, parents, and guardians could see teachers, guidance counselors, and get more information about dual enrollment in college and high school, wellness programs, and learn more about our generation leading senior high school overall. As always, fall sports are underway. These sports include cheerleading, girls and boys cross country, football, golf, field hockey, girls and boys soccer, girls tennis, and girls volleyball. This Thursday, we have our annual club fair, where there are approximately 40 plus clubs and or organizations where students can sign up for. Speaking of clubs, the Greater Latrobe Senior High School Interact Club and teamed with the Latrobe Rotary at the Derry area versus Latrobe football game on Friday, August 25th, to raise over $2,200 towards each community's backpack food initiatives for students and parents in need. I'll also be going over something new that we have this year. I'll be going over the grant allocations and disbursement guidelines that were adopted September 1st that are handled by the student council officers and advisors. So each year, the student council receives $5,000 as a grant. It's used to support the arts, academics, and athletics. We can disperse up to $1,000 per request. Applications are accepted in September, reviewed in October, and recipients must use funds by May, providing documentation. Additional requests may be considered by the student council officers and advisors. Regarding the junior high school, last week at the beginning of the week, there were student meetings for Wildcat Time, and new 7th graders learned all about our junior high Wildcat Time program and what it has to offer for each of them. Also, the open house was also last Thursday, and last Friday, or excuse me. There's September 8th, there's a junior high fundraiser kickoff. This Friday, there's a junior high band night at Memorial Stadium, and then further down the line on September 27th, there's a junior high picture day. I'll be now passing it over to Maddie Slater.
You Alexis are pretty short. I'm also very excited to be here, and I will be covering all three of the elementary schools, and they all actually have a lot of the same events coming up. All three participate in Wildcat Pride every Friday when students wear orange and black for some extra Wildcat spirit. Regarding Patron Elementary, starting September 15th through the 22nd, they will have their Scholastic Book Fair, and then on September 18th, they will have their kindergarten open house, and their book fair will also be open from 5 to 6:30 that night. Regarding Mountain View, they will also have their kindergarten open house on September 18th, as well as their book fair, and they have their annual wellness walk approaching too. And then regarding Bagley, they also have their kindergarten open house on September 18th. And that is all I have for the elementary schools. Thank you.
Big thank you to both of you girls for being willing to be our representatives this year. Thank you so much for your excellent reports. Does anyone have any questions for them? Dr. Locken would like to hear a little bit about you, so come to the microphone and tell us what you're about.
So my name is Alexis McMichael. I'm a senior here at Bailey Litchfield Senior High School. I'm really excited to be here. I love volunteering, and I'm a part of the Interact Club that I talked about at the football game. I love Spanish. I want to travel the world, and I also play tennis.
I'm Maddie Slater, and I'm a junior. I played tennis with Alexis. We were actually doubles partners last year, so we know each other pretty well, so that's fun. I play lacrosse. I do a lot of volunteer work as well, and just public speaking is something I want to work on, so I guess this is a good opportunity for that, definitely. But yeah, we're just both excited to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We look forward to speaking to you. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Mason, enrollment report.
Yes, thank you. The third day enrollment report is attached for your viewing. If you have any questions, or does anybody have any questions about their report?
I know it's not in the report, and I'm going to bring it up now. So I asked about class size because it's always been a concern of mine. And it's usually been a concern because I was worried about first grade and kindergarten being too fast. And you guys were good enough to send me the class sizes of all the schools. And I noticed our 5th and 6th grades, but mostly every building, are on the big side. If you look at numbers, there are at least 25 or more in each 5th and 6th grade class. And I was wondering, I'm just going to state my opinion. I don't know what the professional goal is for what class size should be, but everybody who's older than me always says, well, when I was in school, the classes were way bigger. But frankly, the classes in my day were different. We have way more different kinds of students. We have to have aides in the room, we have to have assistants in the room, we have kids that have behavioral problems, and physical disability problems. So the class size today of 29 or 30 kids is totally different than the class size of 40 kids when I was in 1st grade a long time. So when I see that many kids in a room, I want to know how we justify that, or how we explain that to parents who might have a concern. I know that we had a 6th grade teacher at Mountain View retire, Mrs. Zavasky, who was not replaced. And we have classroom sizes at Mountain View of 28, 29 kids in 6th grade. 5th grade is going to be on a large size too. How many classroom assistants do you have in these grades? Do you have classroom assistants in your parents?
We do. So I'll talk about this, and then Mr. Maines can talk about the supports that we have in place. Part of the issue is when you're dealing with 3 elementary schools, we're moving staff members around to all 3. And I've been involved with this process now for 11 years. It seems like somebody always gets shorted, or we always have something higher than we wanted. One of our priorities going into scheduling, and I wasn't involved with this year, and they did an excellent job with it, but one of our priorities has always been to keep that K1, 2, 3.
And you've done an excellent job with that.
We have.
I salute you on that.
But without increasing staff members, it comes at a cost somewhere. And yes, Mr. Zavatsky may have retired, and I don't know if that position is still there or not.
It is, there's an additional teacher and it was moved to a different grade level.
But
So
that's,
that position was filled, but in a
Right.
different grade level. So still the same number of homerooms in Mountain View, just in different locations.
and that's what happens sometimes, is that spot goes someplace else to try to keep something low. I'll tell you, Mrs. Holler's here, Mrs. Stewart's here. They are never happy when we come out of those meetings, because they advocate for what they want and what they need. Research, and I don't like this number, but I'm just going to throw it out to you. Research shows what, John? Where do you have to be to have class size matter? Like 15?
Yeah.
You have to be lower than 15.
Well,
I don't like that. I think that 21 is better than 27, right? I agree with you. But I'll let John talk about, and when we make that decision to go to 25, 26, 27, obviously we're going to put some type of supports in place, but it's one that we have to feel comfortable with, given what we know about that grade level and the students that are in it, okay?
You talk about the 5th and 6th grade amount, Mr. Culp knows those numbers are higher. So he does have a dedicated classroom assistant to help with 5th and 6th grade. She's actually retired after, she didn't retire, she had a family and taught at our junior high for many years, and she's the one helping in 5th and 6th grade, an excellent teacher on top of the math department. So we know those numbers are high. My daughter's in that 5th grade group at that 26, 23. I know when they were in 1st grade, that number was at 29. I remember you and I having that conversation back then. We did increase it to 4 teachers throughout. Now it's back to 3 and 5th grade, and that's why that number is back up. But Mr. Kralik is aware, and he is working with that classroom assistant to provide that additional support.
Now, we have a classroom assistant in each building for those grades, or just the one?
It just a Mountain View for 5th and 6th grade. Now, the 6th grade number of Mountain View is the highest we have in all 3 buildings. The 5th grade number of Bagley is the same exact 26.3 average at Bagley. LES is 25, but their 6th grade numbers at Bagley is 20.5, at LES it's 23. So they're a little bit lower at the upper grade, at the highest grade.
You don't need help in the other buildings with 5th grade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we're good.
And that's something we can react to as the year goes on.
Right.
You know, if they come to us and say, we need an extra educator in those spots because we're seeing A, B, C, we can react to that. It's the business side of what we do. And
I understand that, but if we're going to spend money on buildings, I understand that, and I support that. If we're going to spend money on buildings, we got to be spending money on kids in the classroom too, because a building only takes you so far. We all know that. If you have an excellent teacher, I don't give a damn if they teach in a shack. The kids are going to get a good benefit from that. So if we're not shortchanging kids with time because the classrooms are too big, that's what I want to be sure of. I'm not blaming it. You understand, I'm not blaming it. I just want to hear what we're doing because our class sizes in these grades seem to me to be high, knowing the environment that we're in today, different types of students that we have to deal with.
I said at the community forum last week that my kindergarten 1st grade class had 37 kids in it.
Right.
They called BS on me and said, there's no way that's possible. And they were right. I pulled my 1st grade yearbook out. I had 36, not 37.
Well, these are the days when Mrs. Leatherman used to walk around with a ruler. And if you said anything, smack! You can't do that.
I always listened, so that I was fortunate. you have any other questions, Dr. Zorich? Dr. Zorich, you have any?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your information, appreciate it.
Okay, we have some agreements that will be on your agenda next week for approval. To approve the Southwest Behavioral Care Incorporated memorandum of agreement for the 23-24 school year. To approve English Language Starts LLC consulting services agreement for the 23-24 school year. And approve the updated St. Vincent College in high school agreement for the 23-24 school year. All of those have attachments. Please read them, and if you have any questions, please let us know. We have a tuition student from William Valley that will be on our agenda next week for approval. We have a curriculum committee meeting next Tuesday, September the 19th at 5:30 p.m. here in the CSC. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Finance, on the agenda for your approval will be the treasurer's report, payment of bills, approved tax bill settlement proposal as recommended by Anderson Price, gifts, grants, and donations, DLPIAF, contributions, and our next finance committee meeting will be Tuesday, October 17th at 5:30 at the senior high school library. Facilities operation and planning. We will have authorization to proceed with capital improvements outlined in the master facility plan, option 1, as detailed under future GLSD on the district website, as recommended by the Educational Visioning and the district facilities operation planning committee. Also on the agenda for your approval will be Westmoreland Intermediate Unit Early Intervention Lease Agreement for 2023-24 school year. Next facilities operation planning committee meeting will be Thursday, October 5th at 3:30 p.m. at the admin building. Student activities and recreation, Mr. Music.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to announce some senior nights. First of all, cross country, which was actually held today at 3:45 p.m. at Rossi Field. The golf senior night will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and that will be held at the Lakewood Country Club. Girls tennis will take place on September 22nd at 3 o'clock at the senior high school tennis court. Field hockey will take place on September 27th at 6:30, and that will be at the Rossi Field. Boys soccer will be on September 28th at 7 o'clock, again at Rossi Field. And girls soccer will be held on October 4th at 6 o'clock at the Rossi Field. The football senior night for the football seniors will be at 6 p.m. before the game at the Lakewood Memorial Stadium. And at halftime, the senior marching band and cheerleading senior night will take place. And last but not least, the girls volleyball will be on 10/17 at 7 o'clock. And that will take place.
Thank you, Mr. Music. Community relations, Ms. Maines.
Yes, thank you. On your agenda for next week, there will be a resolution to approve the school resource officer agreement between Greater Latrobe School District and the City of Latrobe. And also, there's an attachment, the Greater Latrobe Parks and Recreation Commission meeting minutes from the meeting held on June 15th, 2023. That's there for your release. The next Greater Latrobe Parks and Recreation Commission meeting will be held Thursday, September 21st, 2023, 4:30 p.m. in the Unity Township Municipal Building. That's all. Thank you.
Do you want to go ahead and do the intermediate unit, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
On your agenda for next week, we will be authorizing the WIU Joint Purchasing Consortium representative and alternate for the 24-25 school year. Mr. Watson will be the representative, and Mrs. Prohaski will be the alternate. We will be granting permission to advertise jointly as a member of the WIU Joint Purchasing Consortium for the 24-25 school year. 26th at 7 p.m. in the WIU Fred Rogers Room. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meigs. EWCTC Joint Operating Committee, Mrs. Cozart.
Yes, the minutes from the August 23rd EWCTC Joint Operating Committee meeting are an attachment to your agenda, and our next meeting will be September 27th, 7 p.m. in EWCTC.
Thank you, Mrs. Cozart. Transportation, Mr. Music.
No report this evening.
Thank you. Board Policy, PSBA Liaison, Mrs. Cozart.
Yes, we will be receiving a ballot of officer elections. Is that true, Ms. Rasmussen?
You can get it at this link.
At the link, that's right. So we're not even getting an email for
To
it.
read each of the candidates. There's one candidate for each position, so
Yeah,
pretty much.
it's pretty much a given,
Yeah.
so we'd appreciate it if you take your time and access that link and vote. And further down, we will be adopting board policies, policy 918, which is Title I Parent and Family Engagement, with an LES and DES attachment, which we discussed in the board policy. And then we'll also have a first reading of all the following policies as listed.
Thank you, Mrs. Cozart. Technology, next Technology Committee meeting will be Tuesday, October 17th, at 5:30 p.m. at the CSC. Superintendent's recommendations, Mr. Parenka.
On the agenda next week, I'll ask the board to approve resignations as listed. I'll also ask the board to approve substitute teachers as listed. I did note in my Friday update, no, I did not note this in my Friday update to the board, but there is legislation in the General Assembly right now that talks about reducing the requirement for substitute teachers from a 4-year degree to a 2-year degree to help to emergency certify folks dealing with a shortage, teacher shortage throughout the Commonwealth, but there is some legislation that's been introduced to try to help to deal with that. We'll see where it goes, but I think it's interesting that we're adding, six substitute teachers. I know there was one more that applied today, so more to come. We will also ask the board to approve support personnel appointments, a part-time secretary, that's at Bagley Elementary, personal care assistant, and then some substitute personal care classroom assistants and secretaries. I also ask the board to approve a position change assignment. This comes from a salary calculation. We had an incorrect salary calculation for Colony Hauser and Raven DePilka. It's, we had them mixed up, right? They're backwards. So Raven is going from what we had approved as the head cheerleader pep coach to assistant. Colony is going back to her spot as the head cheerleader pep coach. They are both aware. And also ask the board to approve additional support personnel. That's a volunteer junior high cheerleading coach. In other business, I know that Mr. Music talked about all of the senior nights this Friday. September the 15th is the junior high band night and youth football night. That'll be at Memorial Stadium at 6:30. It's always neat to see how the band grows exponentially when we add in our younger kids. It's awesome. Friday, September 29th, the homecoming football game is at Memorial Stadium, followed by the homecoming dance the following day, and that once again will be at Idlewild Park. Board meetings, we have a meeting next week, the 19th at 7 p.m. here at the CSC. That's our regular board meeting, and the committee of the whole meeting in October is Tuesday the 10th, again at 7 p.m. Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Parenka. I would like to thank everybody at this time for coming to the meeting. At this time, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.